Scared is Better presents The Passing Lane. Phoebe felt a rush of independence wash over her as she slipped the key in the ignition. There is nothing more exhilarating than a 17-year-old girl in a 15-year-old Buick with a freshly printed license tucked neatly inside her Michael Kors wallet. She clicked her seatbelt, picked the perfect song, settling on Lady Gaga. She cranked up the volume until it stopped. She wasn't even sure where she was going. Only that the long, lonely road to Dallas meant shopping, and shopping meant freedom. After months of babysitting money saved, she dreamed of a new purse and maybe even those white hot heels she'd seen online. She eased the Buick up to 65 and rolled the window down so it could whip through her fingers. She felt powerful, especially knowing there wasn't another car on the road out of her little town of Bluth. She pressed the gas a little harder, letting the speed make her bold. She was still so new to the driver's seat that she lifted her foot from the accelerator when she saw it. Instinctively, she reached down and turned down the music. The slightly muffled sound made the sight even spookier. The garnet-colored faint taillights of a faraway semi came into view. Phoebe lifted off the accelerator even more. The red lights were high, much higher than she expected. Nervousness crept as she prepared for the decision that she hated, whether or not to pass. She'd only had her permit 6 months, and today felt like an adventure, but every time she had to pass a vehicle, even in her driving test, it was a moment of sheer doubt. As she approached, she realized the lights weren't attached to anything at all. They were floating in the air. A beam, a spotlight, hanging in the middle of the highway. Gulping hard, Phoebe tilted her gaze up to find the source. Above the swirling clouds was only sky, yet something had punched a hole straight through it. The clouds moved fast, not tornado fast, but impossible, blurry, time-bending. Her pulse thickened into a thudding ache. The steering wheel brought her back to reality. She forced herself to move, to react. She slammed her foot down, she checked for oncoming cars, and swerved hard to avoid the red beam. Passing it should have taken a single moment, one heartbeat. But time refused to behave. The beam didn't stay behind her. It followed. It reached her window, illuminating the glass with a prism of color. Her foot pressed the gas to the floor, but the Buick barely responded. The engine revved helplessly. The air thickened around her foot like a marshmallow. The warmth of the beam spread around her, soaking into her skin. Her gas gauge, radio, speedometer flipping wildly back and forth. Her phone began to ring in short, frantic beeps, and then smoked quietly in the passenger seat. Gaga's voice erupted into broken bursts. Play, stop, play, stop. The song itself seemed to be panicking. Phoebe tried to reach the volume knob, but her arm resisted, as if bands of rubber were holding her back. Pressure built against her spine. The sky filled with the windshield as the Buick tilted upward, floating. Weightless panic burned through her, and the untethered fear made tears well up in her eyes. The warmth grew hotter, prickling her skin as if she were sunburning from the inside out. And then the Buick shot upward so violently she slammed back in her seat, unable to breathe, pinned, locked, frozen. The dark starlight blurred past her. She couldn't scream, couldn't twitch a muscle. A colossal shape emerged, an enormous ship as big as a baseball stadium, its docking bay opening like a gaping metal maw. Her lungs empty now. Her vision narrowed, hazy, turned gray, and then pure black. The red beam vanished, replaced by the icy void of space swallowing her whole. Phoebe knew the cold was from space, but the key in her hand felt so solid, so real. Because shopping, I gotta get to Dallas and a new purse. She reflexively flicked on the radio, clicked her seatbelt, let the wind slip between her fingers. The road stretched out before her, endless, comforting. The Buick climbed to 65. She spotted taillights ahead. Tall taillights, floating. She slowed and paused, and she prepared to pass this red light again. Above her, reality looked very different. The holding pods of the ship were vast, but the viewing gallery was private, reserved for General Val and his 2 assistants. Their pale green mantis arms twitched, a species tick of concern. Their eyes were thin black slits, their mouths were small and fanged. Their clicks were unheard by Phoebe. She only felt the steering wheel. She only saw the beam, and she only tried to pass the beam every time. General Val rubbed his hind leg against his spined foreleg, producing a sharp. He spoke in a chittering, patient tone. These are a delicate species, he explained. They take more than 75 solar rotations to mature. When their skin is at its most tender, he pointed an armored arm towards the glass partition, tapping it lightly. You will see it begins to wrinkle, so it must be kept fresh. Hydra sleep will just dry it out. He gestured toward the pod displaying Phoebe, repeating her drive yet again. This one would remain in hysteria, even after toxoplasm infusion. What we have learned is that keeping them in the dream state, in their final memory, stabilizes the skin. When we reach homeworld, it will be loosened and wrinkled. It will be worth more. The two assistants nodded sharply, antenna bobbing, clicking to show agreement. As they watched Phoebe press the gas again, hopeful, dutiful, determined, checking the road before trying to outmaneuver the beam of light, her face brightened for a moment, a flicker of hope, and then the loop began again, and again, and again.